Welcome to another Microsoft Excel data analysis tutorial. In this tutorial, I'm going to explain a very important concept, and that is calculating the running total and running balance. Now, in most cases, when we are working in an organization or in a work setting, what happens is that there are times when we are given a certain budgeted amount to work with, and especially if you are in a supervisory level or if you are in a position to manage that expense, you need to make sure that you are spending the budgeted money within the budget and you don't over expense or you don't go beyond the allocated amount. And that is where you need to keep track of your expenses, and you can, as you expense and as you record, you also see the running total and the running balance as well. So in this tutorial, this is what I'm going to explain, and we are going to use one function in Excel to do that. So first thing we're going to do is, let's say that we have a fixed budget of 50,000. Okay, so that's our fixed budget. Just imagine that. Okay, so that's our fixed budget, and what we're going to do is we want to calculate the running total for expense, and we also want to calculate the running balance as well, so we know exactly how much total we are spending and how much is remaining in the balance at any given time. So that is what I'm going to explain in this video. So first of all, we have the Excel spreadsheet set out like this. I have the date column. So I have the date column, and I have the expense column, and then I have the amount, and I have the running total, and I'm going to calculate the running balance. So this expense and the amount will be ended here, and then we're going to calculate, Excel will calculate the running total and the running balance for us. So first thing is, before we do this, we are going to enter just two records to work with, and then we can start working on the formula. So first thing is, if you're working in a position where you do a lot of data entries, I would like to recommend you to use one shortcut, which is the control plus the comma, this comma here. Okay, that is the shortcut to insert today's date. So especially if you are doing current date, like as you enter the date, you want to capture the date, then insert the current or the date for today, you need to use that shortcut. So that's what I'm going to do today. And for now, so I'm going to put the cursor, select the date for today, and I'm going to press Control and then the comma. So I inserted my date for today, so I'm going to do that. Both of them are going to be today, so I'm going to expense 2, and I'm going to call this food for visitors. Okay, so that will be like 3,500. Now accommodation is going to be maybe 10,000 of the 50,000. So Now I have two entries, and now I'm going to calculate the running balance. So what we're going to see here is, now if, for example, if I'm going to put in the function that we're going to use is called scan. Okay, scan function. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just say that I want to calculate the running total. So if you look at the initial value, it says initial value is only always 0, because all expenses start with 0. Okay, now the array or the table that we are going to source the data is this one here. This is the array that we are looking at, and then we're going to sum. Okay, so we put the sum function, and we close it and press enter. So now you will see that we have expense 3,500, which is the first initial expense. When we had the 10,000, now it's going, our expense is now, running total is 10,500. So the scan is doing well. Now let me go down to the third one and see how it goes. So I insert today's date, and now I'm going to say transport. So out of the 50,000, I'm going to budget say 12,000 for transport hire. Okay, now when I drag this down, all right, it's not calculating anything at all. The reason is because you will see that that's the big problem. The problem is here we have so you're going to, every time you want to include it, you're going to go up and include. Now it's stopping at C3, so you're going to include that and say maybe C4. Okay, C4. Now you will see that the running balance works. Now if I go back and reduce this all the way to say C300, because I want to include whole, you will see that this function is repeating down, because this one here is, I'm trying to be inclusive of all the the columns. Okay, I want to make sure every time I update this one expense, it's good. But then look at this long, it's not dynamic. So you look at this 25, the current balance is scratching all the way down to 3, column row 3 C is covering C300, and this is what it's giving. So I don't like that. Okay, I don't like it. So there's a better way to do it, and this is what you do to avoid this this spillover of the current running total, and we want to make this dynamic. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. So we're going to remove this, and we'll just go back to our record here. First thing we want to do is we just get this this small section here, this small section. We want to convert it into a table. In that way, it is going to make this this data dynamic. Okay, so every time there's a change, the formula will calculate the running total. So what we do is we go to the table, we insert it, and my table is headers, and this is our table. Okay, so we'll make that as it is. Now I'm going to name this table amount, TBL, just to distinguish the column, and I'm going to say table amount, the TB amount. So I'll put that table amount, enter. Now at the same time I want to make this column also dynamic. Okay, so I select this only, this part only. Okay, this part, same part, and now I'm going to go to data, formulas, and I'm going to create from selection. Okay, so create from selection, and I'm going to create this as a named range. Okay, so I will now leave it as the top, and I'm going to click OK. So now if you look at the name manager, there's going to be two data set. One is the table data, which is this table, and also if you look at the amount, it refers to the same data. So that is the trick to get around this spillover for the running total. So now I'm going to remove this table design, remove the filter button. I'll just change this to say black, so make it consistent with the others. So now it's done. Now what I'm going to do is, now you'll see what happens. We're going to go for scan again. Okay, scan, and initial value will be 0, and our value or the array table will be the amount. Okay, amount. So not the amount table, just the amount with the column. Okay, so amount, and then we're going to sum. Okay, just like we did last time, and I'm going to enter. So now you will see that my table has stopped. Instead of expanding it down, it stopped, because it's now stopping at this table, because it's now calculating this amount, which is, if you go to the formula name manager, you see this amount. That's the name I give to this this data set here. Okay, so it's working fine. And then what is going to make this dynamic is this table, because it also exists as the table. It's going to dynamically change this. Okay, so look what happens. Okay, so I'm going to type in another expense and then control, and I'm going to enter today's date, and this time I'm going to say tickets for participants. Okay, so for the tickets we're going to spend 15,000 of that money. So when I enter 15,000, you'll see that because it's in the table, it's automatically pushing this column to insert the 40,000 there. So you can see that our running total is now at 40,000. So that's how you do that. You convert the data into a table set, and then also you make it as a name range, and you use that in the formula, the name range in the formula. And because you set this as a table, it's now automating this process, and it's not spilling over to the next column. So it kind of makes it dynamic. Now comes the balance. So what we are trying to do is, we got 50,000, so that's our 50,000, and we are going to minus the running total, right? So that's our 50,000, and then we're going to run the scan again, and we're going to just redo what we have done. Initial will be 0, table array will be amount, and then sum. Okay, so we'll close it again, and now you will see that your running balance is 46,500 here, and when you hit the 13,000, you are down to this one. And then when you look at the when you are at 25,000, you reach the 25,500, right? Then you are left with 5,000, and then once you spend the 15,000 here, now you are left with 9,500. So that is how you automate the running total and the running balance. Okay, so but the trick is, depending on the amount column, you need to convert it to a table first, and then you also name that table as a named range as well, so that you can apply that in the formula, and that kind of overrides or make it dynamic, so that you keep on so you know that there's 7,000. So if I another time I say, okay, on the 16th 2.25, and then someone says, okay, flower stage decoration, and that is about 500, and then you'll see that your balance now remains at 9,000 running balance left, and that's how you will see your running total as well as your running balance. I think that's all for this tutorial, and I think I hope that this video is useful, so that you can manage your budget well and know the running total of your expenses as well as the running balance at any given time.